everyone, this is Samantha from Scrapmaster's Paradise, and today is Frugal Friday, so I've got 3 cards for you guys. All of these cards were made with our September SP Monthly Kit. You can find the kit details down below. I'm adding a link. The October kit just shipped, but I have a couple of those left, so if you want to order the October kit, you can still do that, but we're totally out of the September kits. These are all using the September monthly kit, which includes the This and That Christmas collection from Echo Park and also the Filled with Cheer Emma stamp set. So I've got the little Emma girl here and some of the pretty sentiments to go with it. I'm going to show you all 3 cards and then I'll get started making them for you guys. Here's a pink and green themed card here. I also have a very traditional colored simple card. And then I also have a very different card. This one is made with bottle caps, and I'll show you exactly what I did to make all 3 of these cards. So let's get started. First, before I get started, I just want to show you my storage tip. This is the This and That Christmas collection, and it just comes in the plastic, so I'm going to show you how I store this. I just cut off the adhesive part from this top piece. There's adhesive usually on here where it folds down. And then I just keep everything inside here when I'm working. You can see I've got scraps of papers and everything in here. So I keep all of my collection pieces together, and it's easy to store. I just can put this in one of my vertical files, and I have all of my pieces of paper and sticker elements all together. I just wanted to share that quick little tip with you. So today I'm going to make a couple of Christmas cards. I decided to make something a little bit different. I'm going to make a snowman out of these. Let me zoom in on my mat here. Okay, so I'm going to line these up and make these into a snowman. These are just bottle caps. My husband likes orange cream soda. So this is just Stewart's brand bottle caps. I had him save them for me. You can use any kind of bottle cap for this. So I'm going to line them up and make a little snowman guy. Okay, so I've got my bottle caps here and 3 pieces of pattern paper that are cut at 1 inch, so it's just 1 inch little circles. It's going to look all vintagey. I'm going to be using the Cutest Gingerbread Man stamp set to make a little face on this guy. If you can see, the faces are about this size here, and my paper isn't quite big enough for the little cheeks. So what I did was I just used my little teeny scissors and cut the cheeks out of the stamp. But then if I want the cheeks for a later image, I can just stick the stamp back together and then I have the cheeks. So I'm just going to go ahead and take these cheeks off and I'm left with just the smiley face. I'm going to put these back in my case here. I'm going to use him. I've got some ink here. This is just some dark brown. I've got my little face. Put it on there. Now I'm just going to color his little face in with a Copic. This is just a dark brown E27. You can use any dark brown marker you've got or colored pencil. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to color it in so that it looks nice. And then I want to make a carrot nose, so I'm just going to draw one in. I've got a Copic multi-liner. That way I can color it in orange. I'm just going to draw a little triangle here. Okay. And then I've got an orange Copic. This one's YR04. I'm just going to color that in too. I used the multi-liner because it will not smear when you're coloring things in with Copics. So if you want to draw your own images and then color them in, you need a Copic multi-liner. So I've got his little face. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to just add some of this glue. I'm using Crystal Effects. You can use glossy accents or any of these glossy mediums here. I'm just going to add a bunch because I'm going to end up covering the whole thing up anyway. Okay, this is where my fingers might get a little bit messy. Pushing this down in there. I've got some of the glossy accents coming up. I didn't add as much to this one. I just want to make sure that my paper's nice and stuck in there. Let's see, that looks good. Same with this one. You can see it's coming up around the edges. Okay, now I'm just going to fill them in with the glossy accents, because I want them to look all glossy when I'm done here. So I'm filling it up, making sure there's no spaces left around the edges. Okay, so there's one. Just filling it up. And also, I want to tell you guys that noise you're hearing is the dishwasher. I'm crafting in our dining room. If you hear lots of noise, that's because the dishwasher is making lots of noise. Okay, so I filled in, all the edges are full, and I'm just going to set these aside. It'll take a while for these to dry. You can tell they look a little bit foggy right now, but they're going to dry and they're going to look super clear and super shiny. I'm just going to set these up here, and I will use them later. I'm going to go ahead and assemble the rest of our card here. I've got these papers. This is from the This and That Christmas collection, which is part of our September monthly kit. So I'm just going to ink up these edges. I grabbed a lighter brown ink, and I'm also going to need some scrap paper here. Now this is from the collection kit. I'm just using that front paper here as my scrap paper. I'm going to ink up these edges. I've got the Tim Holtz ink applicator, and I'm using the felt piece, but you can use whatever piece. There's a felt and a foam, and I do okay with just the felt, so I didn't buy any of the foam ones. I'm just going to ink up the edges. So we're going for a vintagey type look here. This adds some vintagey flair to the card. Okay, that looks pretty good. I've got that all inked up. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to open it because the other piece might get inked up if I left it folded. Okay, also my little red piece, just a little bit to this red piece. I don't want a lot because it's just the matte layer. I don't want it to be completely brown. Okay, so that one's just a tiny bit inked up. I'm going to go ahead and put these pieces together. I am way off camera. How about we zoom out? Okay, that's much better. So this is my matte layer. I'm just going to assemble these pieces here. Like I said, it was a very, very small matte layer for this piece. So this piece, let's see, let's measure this. Okay, so my green piece is 3 inches by 4.5 inches for this green piece. Makes this piece 3 1/8, the red piece. So this is 3 1/8, and then 4 5/8 inches. So that gives you the measurements, and then this is just a standard card base. I'll flip this one over and attach this here. I'm going to try to center this one on here. Okay. Doesn't look quite centered to me. Let's see. That's pretty good. All right, so I've got my layer ready to go. My sentiment is coming from the Filled with Cheer Emma stamp set. I am going to use, let's see, I want one that fills up the space. That one's a little bit small. How about we do this one? Okay, this one says, "Have yourself a merry little Christmas." And then my little snowman's gonna go above it. So we'll use that sentiment. Gotta grab my block. Okay, so I grabbed my block here. I've got my dark brown ink. This is the same one I used to make the little snowman face. Make sure I get my sentiment inked up really nicely. And try to center it. There's my cute little sentiment at the bottom. So this card is ready for our snowman as soon as it's dry. Okay, so my bottle caps are dry and I learned something new with these. You can see my Copic ink smeared a little bit. So I think that these glazes are actually alcohol based versus water based. So just keep that in mind when you're working on projects, because it looks like the Copic's smeared and not the stamped ink, which is the water based ink. So I'm just going to line up my little snowman guy here. I'm going to use the Crystal Effects to glue this down. If I can open it. Okay. I'll start with the bottom one. Make sure I have room. And it's clogged a little bit. Okay. I'm going to make the script right side up. I've got my top one here. Okay, then I'm going to decorate this little guy. I've got some of these enamel dots. These are from My Mind's Eye. This is the Love enamel dots. I'm going to use some of these little brown ones here. I actually like these medium sized. So I'm going to go ahead and add those. Those are going to be his little buttons. Get them on here. He's got his little buttons, and I'm also going to make a little bow for him out of this twine. This is from the Twinery. It's the flax color. I'm just going to tie it into a little bow. When I'm tying a loose bow like this, I do the bunny ear thing, make 2 little loops, and then tie it into a bow. It's different from if you're tying a bow around an element on your card. Just kind of free-handed this. Let's see, it's kind of wiggly because of the twine's twisty. And get this cut. And cut off this end because it's frayed a little bit. I'm going to put that right here. Some more of this glossy accents. I'm just going to add it to the knot part. Then it should stick to this. That one bow loop turned, it's twisting too much. Okay, let's see. Okay, so it'll stay on once it's dry, and that's it. It looks really cute. We just made it out of little bottle caps. There's that finished card. For this next card, I've already colored in an image here. This is the Filled with Cheer Emma. She's colored in with a green outfit, so I thought I would accent this with the pink and use some green paper. So I've got 2 strips cut here. And I'm going to map these so that just a little bit of the green shows on each side. And I find making these strips to make a matte layer, if you're having a big border like this, is so much easier than cutting your paper, measuring it, cutting the green paper and measuring it. So that's my little cheater method here. I do the same kind of thing when I'm using a border punch around some layers. That way I don't have to measure. I grabbed another tape runner because this one's out. I've got to refill it. We'll just keep going. getting my glue on both sides here. Then I can just eyeball how thick I want this piece. Let's see. I want it very skinny. Just add it there. Same with this side. Very skinny. Okay, I've got about a 1/16 of an inch border now. And I lined both of them up. You can see they're not exactly the same width. So I'm going to cut my card down so that everything lines up just right. Let's get this attached and then I'll do a cut. Let's see, I'm going to add it up here. I'm using my grids to help me line things up. Looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to just slice off that little 1/16 of an inch or so off this side. Alright, so now both sides line up really nicely. I'm ready to add my next piece, which is the Emma here. I'm going to just put her up here and then add my sentiment down here, or on a banner piece right here. I haven't quite decided yet. Definitely need that sentiment. Actually, let's add some ribbon too. Got some pretty pink ribbon sitting here. I think that would go nicely since we're already using lots of pink. Let's go ahead and get that added. Flip it this way. Okay. I've got my bow here. I'm going to get it scooted over. I want it on this side. Okay. Got that. Now I can attach this. Let's see, let's put it right about there. I may have to go back and add more adhesive since that bow is underneath this layer. Kind of makes it bow out a little bit on the sides. Okay, now it's time for a sentiment. For this one I'm going to use my lighter brown again. Here's the sentiment. It says Merry Merry Christmas and it'll fit in that space really nicely. There it is. Now that card was really quick and really easy. All I had to do was color in the image and then I just showed you all the rest. There's my quick and easy one. Okay, so for this next card I have another image colored in all the way. So for this one I'm going to assemble this. I've got a plain old card base here. Then I cut this sheet of pattern paper 4.25 by 5.5 inches so that it measures exactly the same as the card front. I'm going to go ahead and fold this and I'm going to get these attached real quick. Oops, got some hair. It's dog hair. One of our huskies is actually shedding right now. If you know anything about huskies, you know that they shed a lot. 2 times a year they shed their entire coat. So we're going through that phase right now with one of our huskies. They actually do not shed all at the same time. It seems like we have one husky shedding every time, or all the time. So I'm trying to line this up exactly on here. I want the whole piece to be completely covered. Okay, got that. And then I'm going going to use a punch. This is the top of the card, and I'm going to punch these corners with the large rounder punch. This is just by EK Success. Let's see, I want to go this way. I'm going to line it up in there and look at it, because this punch, you have to line it up just right, or else it comes out all funky. Okay, so I've got rounded top corners. Then I'm going to add some ribbon. So I'm going to lay this out all the way. I've got to grab my ribbon. I'm going to use this twill. It's just a natural twill here. And I've got to cut a slit up in the top because I'm going to wrap my ribbon this way. I'll find about the center here and cut. Alright. I'm going to just push this through the best I can. Let's see. This one's actually a little bit thicker than regular ribbon, so I can just grab some of it. There we go. Set this ribbon back up to the front so I can put that roll there. Okay, and for this I want the ribbon, usually my bows go this way with the lines, or with the rest of the ribbon. I want the bow actually to be this way, so I'm going to actually tie a knot here. Lined up. I'm just going to, kind of like a square knot here, if I can get it right. We'll see. Oops, too loose. Actually, it doesn't look right, so I'm going to try that again all the way. I've got my one going across here. I'm going to try going the opposite way. Okay, actually I got a knot. It looks kind of funky, but it's going to work because my bow is going to cover it up. That way my ribbon starts from this direction so I can get my bow going the way I want it to go. Hopefully we'll see. Actually I had to flip it, but it's going to end up going the right way. Okay, that was kind of an experiment. Headed in the right direction, that's what matters. And it takes lots of messing with it to get it to be actually the right way. Okay. It's pretty good. Let's just move it just a little bit to get it lined up how I want, and the ends need to be cut evenly. This one needs to be cut a little bit more. Okay, I've got my bow. I'm going to move it closer to the top here, and then I'm going to have my image coming down. I need another piece. Okay, so I just cut a matte layer here in the brown. I'm going to use that on my image. Get this attached to my matte layer. I just cut this filled with Cheer Emma pretty close to the edges so that it's a very small piece of paper, and then I just cut the mat with my just by eyeballing it. I'm going to attach it here with some Stampin' Dimensionals. These are just some foam 3D adhesives. I like to use a lot so that none of the little areas get wimpy. I don't like when people just add it to the four corners, then the middle kind of dips in. I like it all to look 3D and no dip wimpy sections. And then the ribbon's going to be down in the middle here, so that'll keep it from being wimpy in the middle that way. We don't like wimpy. Okay, last one. We're ready to attach this. Get it lined up in the middle. Maybe hit my bow with the corner of it. That looks good. Okay, got our bow, the card there. Okay, so now the card is finished, but I want to add a sentiment on the inside since there's nothing on the outside. It's especially important to add a sentiment on the inside that way. So I grabbed the Holiday Insides 2012 stamp set and I just pulled out one of the longer verses and also the Merry Christmas stamp. I'm just going to stamp these on the inside with some dark brown ink. I'm going to do this big sentiment first. And just try to line it up. And then my Merry Christmas I'm going to put right under that. Oops. Oh no, I messed up a little bit. That's okay. I'll just have to either cover it with a different piece of cardstock so I can cover up my mistake, or just leave it like that. I'll probably just leave it like that because it's handmade and it's okay if it's not completely perfect. So then when I'm ready to address this card to somebody, I can write something personal underneath it and then sign it. And then the card is ready to go. So that's it.